What if I told you there's a single formula that could change your life, one that could break your worst patterns, and it's backed by some very unexpected scientific proof? Let's get into it. All right, let's just jump right in. Do you ever feel kind of stuck? I mean, really think about it. Do the same negative situations, the same types of people, the same old problems just keep popping up in your life over and over again? Well, that's not just bad luck. It's actually a signal. And to really understand what that signal is trying to tell you, we're going to follow a real life example. So let's talk about Thomas's story. Okay, so here's the first big idea, and it's a huge one. Your outer world is pretty much just a mirror of your inner self. We're about to see exactly how this played out for Thomas, who was trapped in what we might call a victim role. And what's so wild is how this pattern just kept showing up everywhere for him. In his love life, he'd always end up with these really authoritarian, oppressive partners. But then, it wasn't just at home. He'd go to work and bam, same thing. An emotionally exploitative, domineering boss. It was literally the same dynamic, just a different setting. So you gotta ask, what's really going on under the surface here? Well, the concept we're exploring calls them emotional knots. Just picture these as like tangled up bits of old traumas and painful memories. They get stuck in your heart, creating these energy boxes that just suck the life out of you and, most importantly, keep you from ever really moving on. And for Thomas, the root of all these knots was super specific and really powerful. Back when he was a kid, growing up, he went through some intense violence and pressure from his own mother. That experience, that became the blueprint, the template for pretty much every relationship he'd have later in life. And this just lays out the mechanics perfectly. So the internal cause, that subconscious victim role that got hardwired into him as a kid, it created this automatic feeling of helplessness. And the external result? Well, he started attracting people who fit the oppressor role perfectly, people who would confirm that feeling of helplessness and even take advantage of it. His outer world was just acting out the script that was already written inside him. All right, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? This is where it gets kind of weird, a little counterintuitive. The answer isn't to fight harder. No, the formula is all about the power of surrender. It's about letting go of that constant struggle and turning your focus to your heart. So you've got two paths here, right? Our default setting is to struggle. We try to change other people, we fight against our situation. And honestly, it's just exhausting and it gets you nowhere. The surrender approach flips that completely on its head. You just stop trying to control everything out there. Instead, you turn your attention inward to healing that emotional core. That's where the real, lasting change happens. And this gets to a really crucial point. You ever wonder why just think positive doesn't always work? This quote nails it. Imagining is not enough. More important than imagining is being able to feel what you imagine. Remember those emotional knots? Well, they're the reason. They literally block you from being able to feel a different, better reality. They keep you locked into the emotions of your past. So the takeaway is this. The real place where change happens, it's not in your head. It's not about thoughts. It's in your heart. Every single bit of real, lasting transformation starts right there. Okay, get ready, because this is where the story takes a really wild turn. We're about to look at some mind-blowing proof for all this stuff, and it comes from the last place you'd ever expect. We're talking about the CIA. Yep, you heard that right. Turns out, there's a declassified CIA research project from the Cold War era, and it was called the Gateway Process. And what was this project about? Get this. They were trying to train agents to use their own consciousness for psychic spying. I'm not kidding. They were literally researching how to change reality and influence people from a distance. But in the middle of all this, they stumbled onto something incredible. Here's their biggest finding. A person can influence their reality, but, and this is the key, only when their heart is generating high-frequency emotions. We're talking peace, tranquility, and love. You couldn't do it with force. It had to come from a feeling. And here's the beautiful paradox that just proves the entire point. The whole goal of their project was negative, right? Espionage. But that negative intention was completely incompatible with the positive, heart-based feelings they needed to make it work. They literally couldn't generate the peace and love required to pull off their hostile mission. It's amazing. This is where modern science and ancient wisdom just click. It's a perfect match. A practice called zikri ilahi, or divine remembrance, is pointed out as one of the most powerful ways to generate this exact heart frequency. And the whole point of that practice is to connect your heart to that feeling of universal oneness, which, believe it or not, is something even quantum physics hints at with its idea of a single unifying force. And look, this is not some new age idea. This wisdom is ancient. It's right there in core texts. The Quran says, "Verily in the remembrance of God do hearts find rest." A prophetic hadith says that if the heart is sound, the entire body is sound. And you could say your entire life, too. You have these totally different sources, all pointing to the exact same truth. Everything. It all starts in the heart. So let's tie this all together. What's the ultimate solution? It's simple. It's returning to the heart. And I want you to think of it like this. It's like finding the key to the automatic doors of your life. This is such a great metaphor. You know those automatic doors at a grocery store? You don't have to force them open. You don't struggle with them. You just walk towards them and whoosh, they open for you, effortlessly. Well, when you get your inner world, your heart, aligned, that's how life works. The right opportunities, the right people, they just open up for you, just like that. So, okay, how do you actually do this? It really breaks down into 4 simple steps. Number 1, stop struggling. Just let go of trying to change everything and everyone around you. Number 2, focus on your heart. Put all your tension right there, inside. 3, untie the knots. Start using inner work to dissolve those old emotional blocks. And number 4, cultivate high emotions. I mean, actively choose to feel peace, love, and gratitude, no matter what's going on in your life. Which really brings us to one last really powerful question for you to think about. If your entire world is just a reflection of what's inside your heart, then what are you going to choose to plant in there, starting today? Something to think about, isn't it?